What movie do you unironically love, that critics hated? The 13th Warrior. If you can find Michael Crichton's book Eaters of the Dead, read it. The movie was adapted from the book, which was based in part of the diaries of Jabon Fadlan's historical account of his time with the Vikings. It's really interesting and a bit scary. Lo, there do I see my father, lo, there do I see my mother and my brothers and my sisters. Lo, there do I see the line of my people back to the beginning. Lo, they do call to me. They bid me take my place among them in the halls of Valhalla, where thine enemies have been vanquished, where the brave shall live forever. Nor shall we mourn but rejoice for those that have died the glorious death. National treasure, both of them are great, but the first one has a special place in my heart. Same here. Nicolas Cage and Diane Kruger was absolutely lovely in movie. I don't understand why critics hate it. National treasure is a natural treasure in my book. Mystery Men. Even Ben Stiller hated it. It's funny in retrospect that the song All Star was featured in this film, and music video includes scenes from this film, but now it is more associated with Shrek. We didn't expect to see You So Spoon. I live in the UK, Scotland, specifically, and when I tell people I love Johnny English, I am usually met with groans. I'm telling you though, when he accidentally drugs himself, better than the quail you'd seen in Wolf of Wall Street. I still regularly quote variants of Jesus is Coming, Look Busy. Didn't know people disliked Johnny English. Rowan Atkinson is a national treasure. Johnny Mnemonic. Reading through the 17% Rotten Tomatoes and 36% Metacritic reviews just now. Quite a few mentions of the movie not holding up to The Matrix and Blade Runner. The only way I'd compare it to the best in sci-fi is to say Johnny Mnemonic is what Scream was to slasher movies. It's just fun. Also got a spooky amount right about 2021. I think many of us wanted Neuromancer when it was released, and it sure wasn't. Had Neuromancer already been done, I think it would have been different. Scooby-Doo and Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed, have been watching them my whole childhood, and I see how great they really are for me. I highly recommend watching Scooby-Doo with the cast commentary turned on. Absolutely hilarious. One of my and my sister's favorites. Also, the casting was perfect, as was all of the outfit choices, unlike many modern disappointments, Riverdale, Winx Club. The Losers. I don't know if it was hated so much as nobody saw it. I think it got overshadowed by The Expendables despite being better in just about every way. That's right bitches, I got a crossbow. Most of Jensen's lines are pure gold. Losers came out the same year as A-Team, if I remember correctly. They felt like similar films. Elite Team that doesn't take itself too seriously confronts a conspiracy to escalate international tensions, but Losers is definitely the superior of the two. Jennifer's Body, great movie with a sucky advertising/marketing team. It was made for teenage girls/young adult women, but was marketed to teen boys/young adult men. Super Mario Bros. Don't know why I love it, but I do. Speed Racer. It's just such a light-hearted, fun movie. I love the visuals, although I can see how people would have issues with it. My mother-in-law can't watch it because it makes her dizzy, and I thought the actors were all perfect for what the movie was supposed to be. My family watches it probably once a month, and I still get sucked into the excitement of all the races. I totally agree. This movie is such a faithful adaptation of Spirit of the North American dub. I never saw the Japanese version. It's a shame it never gets recognized as such. You can tell that the Wachowskis loved this show when they were kids. If neither of them had a Speed Racer lunchbox as a prized childhood possession, then I'm sober at work right now. Edit, I've had a couple. John Goodman fucking made this movie. For an entire week all I watched was Megamind, so I guess that. It's such a shame that movie didn't take off the way Despicable Me did. It's a really great, hilarious movie. It's a 73% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes. It's not a critical darling or anything, but it wasn't hated. I agree it deserves more though. I fucking love that movie. Mars Attacks is probably my favorite parody movie ever, and almost everyone who watched couldn't get over how ridiculous it was. Please, do not run. We are your friends. As they are literally melting everyone in sight with their laser guns. My buddy and I rented that movie and pissed ourselves laughing. So we rewound it and watched it again. Still laughed our asses off. So we rewound it and watched it a third time. First and only movie that I watched 3 times in a single sitting. I remember being terrified of Mars Attacks as a kid. I rewatched it a year or so ago, and it wasn't scary at all and worth the rewatch. Big Trouble in Little China initially lambasted by critics, but as it became a cult favorite, critics started to come around. Waterworld. I'm there with you. I love this movie. Such a cool concept and execution. The Mummy and the Mummy Returns. What? Since when did these great movies get hate? I've always thought they were amazing, and I've rewatched them so many times. I don't understand why any hate. I'd rewatch these movies all day, they are perfect. Not the third one lol, and we all know why. The Secret Life of Walter Mitty with Ben Stiller. Critics didn't really seem to like it, but it's seriously one of my favorite movies. I've watched it a dozen times and it always leaves me with a sense of wonder and adventure. It's inspired me to travel and to not just want to waste my life trudging along with the flow. I'm not really that type to rewatch movies, but I am always in the mood for Walter Mitty. Seriously, it's the only DVD I own. Just such a feel-good movie. Gives me wanderlust every time. I finally found someone who likes it. A Knight's Tale. It wasn't hated by critics, but it wasn't particularly loved. But it's such a feel-good movie. Phenomenal soundtrack, great cast. The spark of his life is covered in shite. His spirit is gone but his stench remains. Does that answer your question? I saw that critics bashed the soundtrack for being anachronistic, which really shows that critics missed the whole point of the movie. David Lynch's Dune has its problems, but my goodness, the production design and the sheer ambition of it. Effects technology wasn't quite there yet. I hope the movie coming out in October is good. They really nailed the still suits. The Reverend Mother's look was unforgettable, too. She's the Man. It's just an incredibly fun movie. Amanda Bynes' comic touch is divine throughout that movie. This is one of my favorites. I quote it all the time, and no one ever gets it. Amanda Bynes is hilarious and has such great expressions. Kung Pao, Enter the Fist. Has a 13% on Rotten Tomatoes, but 69% audience score. That movie is absolutely hilarious, and my friends and I quote it all the time. I get that humor is relative, but I can't help but think the critics were just wrong about that one. I came into this post looking for this comment. I fucking love Kung Pao. I rule, baby. Who do you rule? The large dark nipple people. That's a lot of nuts. Death to Smoochie. Robin Williams unhinged as Rainbow Randolph is amazing. Probably the best dark comedy I've ever seen. So many great moments. The rocket ship scene is great, but my favorite is the Irish mob. Tommy Cotter, this I guarantee, that fucking Randolph has seen his last rainbow. We're going to find him, cut off his balls, and shove them up his ass. Sheldon mopes, well, maybe we should leave that for the cops, Tommy. Roy, cops won't do the ball thing, it's against procedure. Jumper. It's a movie about this guy who can teleport wherever he wants, and he is being hunted down by people who call themselves paladins. I think it's a really good movie, but Rotten Tomatoes gave it like 15% Lamau. Yup. I think the majority of negative reviews are probably because it isn't like the book series, but really fun movie. Nacho Libre E, I was honestly shocked it got bad reviews. 10 minutes ago I was in my car with my kids, 6 and 8, and we kept saying I wanna win, and cracking each other up. That movie has such enduring appeal. This is my go-to movie when life's treating me real shitty. I've never been sad enough that I haven't laughed at that film. Highlights, nipple. Twist. Behind the clothes, we find a man. And behind the man, we find his nucleus. Take it. It was my mother's lucky machete. Do you not realize that I have had the shits since Easter's? The part where he farts as he jumps off of the cliff, the Encarnacion song. Subscribe for more hot Reddit takes in your inbox, guaranteed.